Hello traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Workhorse, a popular ticker in a popular industry. The EVs, they're going to solve world hunger. No. World peace. No. They're just cool. So let's see. I have done videos on that before, and I don't remember any issues with it. I think the last one was in December, somewhere in the middle. I do remember drawing a lot of lines. I'm a line horde. When I put lines on the chart, I usually leave them for a long time and for good reason. So, for that, let's look at the lines. Oh, by the way, the only reason I'm approaching this because somebody in the chat room literally just posted Workhorse is inching higher, keeps inching higher after hours. So I got curious and I looked at it. It was up 5% today. Today is, what is it? 25th, Monday. GME day, and then it's up 7% after hours. So this is TradingView, the platform, and the blue line here it shows where it is after hours. So approaching this level right there at 2650-ish. Having said that, let's look at the lines that I have set for it. Speaking of chat rooms, actually, if you don't subscribe to this channel, it's free. You can do so. Just tell YouTube you want to, and set the alerts so you can get the notification of my videos that I post. I don't spam, I just post videos. And as far as the chat room, I do have a link below. It's not free to be in the chat room because it's a lot of work, and we do good work in there. But it is free to try it out. There's a link to PayPal. It takes you to PayPal, but it's $0. This is only so I can protect the 250 more people in the chat room from prospective trolls. If you're a troll, welcome. Anyway, no, just kidding. So here we go. These are the lines I have. I know it looks busy, but let me explain to them. The first thing that pops into view are these bubbles. They have been in contention forever, and I keep adding them. They keep going back. And so I have an alert here. If price falls into that zone, tell me. I want to get long to see what happens. I also put a base and a resistance zone. Clearly, those were correct because I usually put these like somewhere around here. So far, they've held. So they're ping-ponging inside of a range. That usually goes on like I did with the Palantir videos, and nobody believed me, and then finally, poof, it pops. And now I get the, oh, you were right type of comments. Before it was like, oh, what an idiot. Now it's like, oh, you were right. So ping-pong between the two until one side breaks out. So if this fails, then there'll be a retest down to 1730. That's not what I'm calling for. I'm clearly looking up because that's the reason I came to look at the chart. By the way, none of this reflects on how the company is going to fare in the long run. It's not for me to judge. I'm merely making comments about the stock price action from a non-Wall Street eyeballs. I don't have any trade on it right now. I don't have any friends that told me I'm long, so I'm not trying to help anybody out. I'm merely I'm not giving any trading advice. I'm just telling you where the lines that will matter, in my opinion, lie. And in this case, I'd be interested to see what happens tomorrow and tonight with this 2660, 2670 prior failure. It has been pivotal for a long time. But more importantly, tomorrow, what happens if they get to 28? So that has been a place of failure, sharply so. I would argue 4 times already. Yes, this I would consider it the same and same here, even though it has gone further. But don't worry about it. I'm not dissing the company or the opportunity. Every problem is an opportunity on a chart. So if the bulls are able to bump up above it tomorrow or the day after, then they have the chance to set a new high. How is that? It's easy because they keep bumping along the same area, problem area, but in this case, they're doing it from higher lows. So there is a trend going on. The bulls seem in control, even though they are not able to break out. For now, this should be comforting, right? So the bulls are bumping on a roof from higher lows. So if you think about it, the range is going from here, it's getting tighter, and when you do that, energy builds up. So whether they do it this time or they fail one more time, as long as they're maintaining the ascending trend line, sometimes it's even okay to lose it. And then you eventually attack it one more time and you break above it. And once you do that, the bears are tired. The bulls will rush in. They overwhelm the bears. So the longer it takes them, the easier it is for them to go like this. Why? Because they would be in open air. Yes, they have been higher before, but not recently. So the bears have fewer notches to short against. You saw what happens to GME, right? When the bears get into open air, they fall back on their heels. This is not the situation as GME, but that other extreme illustrates the point. When you get into open space, it takes a nudge to take you a long time, a long distance. So in this case, the opportunity upside is for the bulls to watch what happens, in my opinion, 28. So if I'm not long going into 28, I'd want to wait until it bursts through 28. The only reason I would jump the gun is if I like the company long term and I just want to get ahead of it. If I'm just looking to trade, I usually say no trigger, no trade. Or if you invest in it, no thesis, no trade. Either way, it's NT. So if you're an investor long term and you have a thesis on why Workhorse should be good to own for the long term, you don't need to be watching this video. You can just buy the shares and wait out your thesis. If you're a trader, like I mostly am with these stocks, I would rather see the actual breakout happen and chase it than anticipate it and end up holding the bag of some red calls. So I'd rather miss out on the opportunity than to get in too early. How about that? That's probably the best way of saying it. Conversely, if it falls into here, I'm a buyer for a trade. Sometimes I quote buy by selling. Instead of buying something, I'd rather sell puts or put spreads. In this case, one thing I don't do is double down, because this is an unproven company in an unproven industry. So yes, the batteries, the EVs are making a run against the internal combustion engine ICE, but it's not a given that they're going to win in the long run. We don't know how sustainable it is. It looks good. There's still a huge upside. We only make like 3 million EVs versus like 80 million non-EVs every year. So if indeed that's the way we're going, the upside's huge. But most likely, the demand will be filled by the huge companies that are already there. It's easier for GM, Volkswagen, Toyota to switch to EVs than to have all these companies grow enough to supply this 80 million vehicle deficit or 70 million vehicle deficit. There's no way they can do it. So I tell you with very good certainty that most of these EV companies will fail in the public market, not as a company, but in the public market. That's my opinion. But this is a trading video, so the lines are in front of you. Buy the dip at 23.50, in my opinion. That's where they'll try first, and that fails closer to 21, 20 and a half, or chase the rip. Either way, I'm looking up. I'm not dissing the company, I'm just looking up. Now, the whole market is precariously perched. It's up at all-time highs. The small caps set a high in the morning, just today. So the 25th on Monday, the market opened iffy, boom, small caps, new all-time high. Minutes later, it fell 3%. This is a basket of 2,000 stocks. That is not right. That's because inside the small caps are companies like this and Plug Power. So the small caps used to be $5 billion market cap-ish. Plug Power is inching on 30 billion, yet it's still in there. And when these things move, and it's 1% of the whole index, last time I checked. So when this big batch of crazy stocks move, it moves an index and it gives the impression of good things going on in the market. Think about it. If the market is so healthy, why is the government pumping another $2 trillion in stimulus in panic mode? Things are not great. Otherwise, they wouldn't be pumping all that cash. So keep that in mind, that these stocks, as great as an opportunity seems, they have to trade inside of a whole market that is precarious. Not like, I'm not bearish, trust me. I've shared my trades with members, and I'm long a lot of stuff. I was shorted a lot of stuff that I closed today for good wins. GM, Goldman Sachs, I shorted it the day it fell. So I'm I don't care where the market comes and goes. I just have to realize the risk that lies, extrinsic risk from the market onto whatever ticker I'm trading, in this case Workhorse. All right, that's enough of it. Later, bye.